All right, everybody, we are back with another version of the Ramp Careers Daily Update. Per usual, I am here with Mitch and Manoj, the co-founders of Ramp Career, and I am Danny, one of the other co-founders. Guys, how you doing?
Doing well, man. What is this, middle of the week? Is it Wednesday? I can't keep track of time anymore.
I'm lost, man. I don't know. It may be Sunday, could be Thursday, but who knows?
It's always Monday. It's just one big continuous Monday.
So today we want to talk about mistakes and what to do with them. Everybody has mistakes at work. We all go through them, how to own the mistake and how to improve from the mistake. But first, I wanted to talk through some exciting news of the day. So it looks like the Robinhooders are out, and it looks like the Robinhooders are out in full force. And no, I don't mean the men in tight pants. I mean the app, Robinhood, the commission-free trading app, is on a spree of hiring, driven by the flock of new traders to the markets during COVID. It looks like the company is looking to add over 100 positions in South Lake, Texas, and Tempe, Arizona. Guys, this has to be great news, but it's also a little wild, right?
I mean, everyone's a trader today, man. I think the consensus is that stocks only go one way, and that's up. I kid you not. I've been watching online content, and by online content I mean TikTok, on why it's a great idea to buy Apple stock because it's set to split, and even though it literally translates into no material change in your ownership interest or the value of your stock. People are like, oh my God, this is going to split. This is so big. Like, all of you should buy Apple stock because it's worth more as soon as it splits. It could be if it goes up in value, but fundamentally nothing changes. So yeah, it's scary, but addictive platform. Like I said, remember when we talked about how the world is moving towards entertaining, easy to understand, short form, quick transactions? I think Robinhood is a prime example of it. It's super entertaining, great interface, easy to understand. Nothing there is complicated. And so let's see. I mean, we'll see how this pans out. It's good for the economy. I mean, if they're hiring more people.
Yeah, definitely good for the economy. I think if you're coming into day trading this late in the game, though, you might have missed the boat. This is probably when you see professional investors sitting out and waiting for things to come back down. But look, good for them. Maybe they'll make a quick buck.
Yeah, definitely good for them. Definitely good for the economy. But yeah, a little ominous. Also, who knows? In 3 years, we could all be working for Robinhood or Coinbase or DraftKings, one of these addictive platforms. So, the sign of maybe things to come here. But I do want to
on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to jump into our topic today because I know it's a good one. And the topic of the day is owning your mistake. So, like I said in the intro, we all make mistakes. It's not about avoiding the mistakes. It's really about learning from them, growing, and ultimately giving yourself leverage to not make those mistakes again or not repeat the same mistakes. So Manoj, I know you have a great framework here that you've spoken to both Mitch and I about. Do you want to share it here?
Yeah, no, this is something that I learned through my brief stint in a non-sales role. This is actually something that I learned, back when I did customer success for a brief second. And, it's a good framework to have. It's a 5-step process. I think you can apply to any mistake that you make, personally or professionally. It goes as follows. The first step is to pause and assess the impact. I think people sometimes don't do that. You immediately freak out. I think it's good to just pause and assess the impact and say, okay, here is what's at stake because of something that I've done, whether it's, again, knowingly or unknowingly. The second step is to acknowledge that there's a mistake, right? So sweeping it under the rug doesn't fix anything. It's not a good way to go. So once you assess the impact, acknowledge that there's an issue at hand. The third step is, I wouldn't say it's optional, but where appropriate, apologize. It's okay to take ownership. You don't have to necessarily apologize in all instances. In some instances, it may not be necessary, but to the extent there is, definitely apologize. I think it makes a big difference. It shows that you're taking ownership over what happened, and it helps kind of ease the process. The fourth is an important step, which is remediate, fix it. So fix whatever the impact was caused by your mistake. Make sure that you remediate it so as to provide some ease to parties that may have been involved. And last but most important step is to establish a process so that this mistake doesn't happen again. I think that's something that a lot of people miss. they remediate, and then they move on. So make sure that you figure something out so that you don't do the same mistake again. So 5-step process: assess impact, acknowledge that there's an issue, apologize if necessary, remediate, and establish a process so it doesn't happen again. Let me turn it back to both of you. I mean, I'm sure, like me, you've made your share of mistakes, maybe fewer than perhaps me. Mitch, for sure, has made thousands of mistakes. I can assure you of that. But how have you dealt with it when things have gone wrong?
I have never sent an email that was not properly formatted. Not once have I missed somebody's name in an email. Those are mistakes I just don't make. I've heard of them happening to lots of people. I think I like the framework. I think the number one thing is like you have to own it. So if I mess up in an email, make a mistake in my day-to-day or personal life, professional or personal life, own the mistake. You see celebrities do this all the time. They screw up in the public light. The ones who get off clean are the ones who own it immediately. They take ownership. They take their lashings, and then everyone, forgives them, and they're popular again. It's the ones who try to hide or fight it that it ends up just prolonging the embarrassment, and the public starts to turn on them. So I think owning it's a big thing. Apologize for your mistake. For me, I was kidding. I have made email mistakes. For me, what I've learned is to double, triple, quadruple check your work. So if you're sending out automated emails through an email solution, the automated email, provider, whether it be Outreach or SalesLoft or Salesforce, they don't know whose name it's supposed to go to. So if you have like customized, personalized templates in there, make sure your fields match up. Double check those before you send an automated email out, or set up some tests to ensure that you're catching mistakes early on. And then the biggest lifesaver for me is in Google, and this works in Outlook as well. Turn on undo send for your emails. So when you hit send, you can, or if you hit send by accident, you can quickly undo and get that email back. Set that thing to the maximum length. I think it's like 30 seconds you have to undo send. And I can't tell you how many times that saved me from hitting send accidentally, or I'll hit send. I'll quickly hit undo send and like revise the email because I want to change something, and hit send again. That's been a lifesaver.
The undo send feature, complete game changer. They put it into the Gmail app on your phone too. So now I can undo send on my phone. It's a beautiful one. I love that. So speak to a specific example. In my first role as a salesperson at Groupon, an individual contributor, during my first few months, I was a wreck organizationally. I just did not have my shit together. I was hustling my butt off and trying to make $100 a day, but I did not know how to manage my inbox. I didn't know how to manage my calendar. And I would, from time to time, miss meetings that I had previously set in my CRM, which was Salesforce at the time, but didn't populate over to my Gmail. And, what I would do in that instance is absolutely own it. I would call the business owner back. I would apologize profusely. Ultimately, that apology did carry weight and typically was never met with anything harsh. It was a simple mistake. But to remedy the situation, what I resigned myself to do is I now use all of my inboxes as inbox zero and as a to-do list. So I will keep mail in my inbox only to the point where I haven't done it. So it's a big task list for me, and that's how I keep myself organized. And I'm also a relentless scheduler with my calendar. So the second there's something that has been agreed to by either prospect or meeting or whatnot, I will add an event straight into my calendar. That keeps me in line, and my calendar app is one of the most used app on my phone. I make sure that it's up to date, it's tidy. There's an agenda in every invite. There's a meeting link in every invite. So that just keeps me organized, and I eliminate the missed meetings, and that's been a lifesaver. So inbox zero and keeping a super neat calendar.
Do you guys have any go-to excuses, like dog ate my homework, for if you miss a meeting or you're running late to a meeting?
I've been very honest, man. I just let people know that I've messed up. I mean, if I overslept, and that's it. I mean, I tell people that, hey, listen, I took a nap or I overslept. It sounds awful, but take me as I am. I messed up. You have every right to be angry, and you should. I'm embarrassed that I've done it. People are forgiving. I mean, for the most part, there is going to be some people that not appreciate it, and you may end up losing a deal or two. I'd be surprised if everyone is going to be okay with it. But listen, I mean, you made a mistake, so I think it's only reasonable to eat dirt, for the lack of a better word, for, once or twice, but stayed away from making excuses. Some things that I hear is that, oh, for some reason it didn't show up on my calendar. I've heard this stuff a lot, and I'm like, what? It just magically disappeared out of your calendar? Like took a stroll, and it's like back now. It's just like that stuff is not. It's not genuine. I'd rather hear people say I messed up, because I've done it too. Everyone has done it. The excuses. The other thing is just showing up late on meetings. I think that's also quickly becoming a pet peeve of mine. I'm finding myself doing that too often, and so. What I've learned recently is not to have meetings back to back, but give myself at least a 10-15 minute buffer, because especially in today's world, everything's digital. People are spending more time than they used to in the past. You could get stuff done in a 1 hour meeting. Now you have to shoot the breeze for 20 minutes. So that's another tactical tip, just to avoid running late into meetings, is don't set up back-to-back meetings if you can avoid it. I've been running late on most of my meetings. Even with you guys, I don't know if you've kind of noticed it recently.
We noticed.
I'm trying to get better.
I mean, I was late just now, so I feel you. It's hard to manage your schedule when you're pulled in so many different directions, and you're back to back with Zoom meetings or Google Meets, whatnot. So I think that's great advice of not scheduling back to back. I also try to shrink the meeting time so it ends 5 or 10 minutes early. On the half hour or the hour. So instead of a 9 to 9:30, I'll do a 9 to 9:20 meeting. So that's another thing. Well, I think we've done a good job covering a lot of specific instances where we made mistakes and how to remedy those. So we've covered a lot, and want to leave you there for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another daily update. But for Mitch, Manoj, I'm Danny, signing off from the Ramp Careers Daily Update. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.